Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Sunday, December 1st, 2024. It is the 11th of Sagittarius. As it is the beginning of the month, I would like to encourage those of you, if you happen to not be subscribed, but you keep coming back, please do so. Of course, it doesn't cost you anything or anything else. I would also like to extend a very warm welcome to all of the new coming subscribers who have arrived since the beginning of last month. Very glad to have you here. And of course, my ongoing appreciation to everyone who likes the videos, who comments on them. That's the only way to communicate to that nasty algorithm that there's something worthwhile going on here. So I very much appreciate that support and thank you for what you've done in the past and what I hope you'll continue to do in the future. So, as you see, new month, and so I have chosen new seasonal archetypes and ideas for us to have a little fun with on each day of the week. Obviously, for Sundays, I have chosen it to be the day of Santa Claus. So, look forward to lots of cute pictures and just seasonal fun stuff. There shall be no Ebenezer Scrooges around here. We are going to enjoy ourselves. So, let's dive in, everyone. Let's dive in. To begin with, we have the new moon in Sagittarius. And of course, we have activity ideas to go along with that. We have a tarot spread. So, just very briefly, you could go on an adventure, whatever it is that really gets you going, but lights your soul on fire. Do that today. Work on manifesting your desires. In order to do that, you have to have a very clear vision of what it is that you want. So, if you've been struggling with manifestation, you might kind of reflect upon whether or not you've been we're just too vague and work from there. Explore new activity, anything to do with exploration. The moon in Sagittarius is really going to like. Of course, clean and charge your crystals. That goes without saying. Have a bonfire, do candle magic if you don't have the availability to do a bonfire. Lay out a tarot spread, write about your desires, reflect, try making a new recipe, especially if you're trying out a new offering. If you make it from scratch, huge good thing to do today. Embrace the Sagittarian energy, step out of your comfort zone, cleanse your space, of course, especially right before your new moon rituals. Make sure that it's not just the area that is physically clean, make sure that the energy is clean as well. Make moon water, although I do think that making moon water is a little bit better to do at the full of the moon, but you can do it at the new moon. Just know that it has more of the new moon qualities to it. Engage in self-care and put on your favorite podcast, uplifting playlists. Maybe you are indulging in some seasonal Yuletide music right at the moment. I know I am. So just enjoy it and make the most of it. Now for the tarot spread that I brought for you to consider using. Uh, First card on the top, reset any habits or ways of thinking that are not serving you. Then below that, take chances and step out of the comfort zone. And then at the bottom, set your intentions and manifestations for what you desire. Then you go to the other side, expand your horizons and perspective for growth, fresh new energy for optimism, passion, and excitement. And then the last card will represent welcoming new beginnings, prosperity, and abundance. So make sure that you take heed of any messages you get from that. And of course, be sure to look under the community tab on my YouTube channel. There's usually a lot of seasonal goodies posted there. And for this particular season, I'm going to try to go that extra mile for you guys. So let's proceed. Now, the astrology in general for today, the sun is in Sagittarius, mutable fire representing adventure. The moon is first quarter Sagittarius, mutable fire, also representing adventure. The peak of the new moon actually already occurred at 12:21 a.m. Central Time, but don't worry, it will not affect your new moon rituals tonight. And if you got up early in the morning and you went ahead and did them already, bonus points, kudos, brownies, all the good things. You are doing the work, that's for sure. Mercury remains in retrograde Sagittarius, mutable fire, which means we can expect travel disruptions. But honestly, this is still part of Thanksgiving Day weekend. You're not having to travel today. If you are, just the usual things. Check to make sure the car's in good order. Don't push the gas tank too far. Be careful and watch out for the lunatics. But if you are able to stay at home, then decorate, do the fun stuff, take a nap. Just try to avoid anything that is involving travel if you can. Then Venus is in Capricorn, cardinal Earth. which is to be reserved. Mars remains in Leo, fixed fire, which represents focus. Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini, mutable air, which is to broaden perspective. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, representing nostalgia. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, fixed earth, representing rebellion. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which is spiritual awakenings. And Pluto's in Aquarius, fixed air, representing reformation. So, for our retrograde reminders for Mercury, just rethink those communication patterns, especially if you are decorating with your nearest and dearest. You might just go the extra mile and really spell it out what it is that you want, because ambiguity might not be your best friend today or for the next few weeks. In Jupiter, reconnect with your true path. Uranus, reconsider how you rebel. Neptune, reclaim your magic. And Chiron, restore the heroic spirit. So, as we are in the midst of that new moon, it's time to set new intentions. What do we want for the cycle going forward? And remember, at the very end of the month, we have another new moon, a second new moon, which will really pack an energetic pow. So, think about what you want to accomplish as you are working your way up to that second new moon in this month. Then we have a Sagittarius moon. And so instead of giving you the do's and don'ts, which I've done for several months now, I thought we would focus a little bit more on the theme of the moon sign. And for Sagittarius, it's truth and travel. Sagittarius wants to know and it wants to go out and get there. And by extension, it wants to verify. Verification is the thing with Sagittarius. They like to make sure that they know what it is that they're getting into and that they are sure that things are as advertised as part of that pursuit of truth. So exploration, satisfying curiosity, these are all just kind of your watchwords for this particular moon phase. So the month is beginning on that refreshing note with the new moon, just as preparations for Yuletide are really getting into full swing, especially if you're like me and you wait until after Thanksgiving to do your decoration. It's time to get moving. So hone in on your vision for the season, make incremental plans to accomplish your goals, and just enjoy the ride to come. If you can enjoy the process getting up to there, you'll probably just get a lot more enjoyment out of the journey as a whole. Now, our tarot, we have a special Yuletide tarot deck. It was written by Christopher Hughes and the art is by Aaron O'Leary Brown. And I hope you fall in love with this deck as much as I have. So, our very first card of the month is the Four of Candles. You'll notice we have some slightly different keywords associated with, the number of the card, the suit of the card, and keywords. And as you know, if you've watched my channel for a while, I always give deference to the authorial intent. So, for the number four with this deck, think things like mercy, security, stability, and structure. And then for the suit of candles, that corresponds with the suit of wands, and of course, the element of fire. And the keywords for this card in particular are stability, a new home, a happy event. This is a very fortuitous card to come up with the new moon because it is all about those new beginnings and enjoying the process, but also attaining a kind of stability. Now, stability, it's not necessarily, I have absolutely enough money and I'm sure that the house is in perfect order and I have all of the toys and all of these things. Those things can contribute to stability, but the actual source of stability has everything to do with how solid our human relationships are. So, focusing on the family, focusing on your marriage, focusing upon just your family history and everyone who lived and died and made sacrifices, to essentially get your family up to the point that they're at. These are things to reflect upon. These are things to have some gratitude for. And of course, it's all about, are you forging a strong new link in that chain? And we sometimes underestimate how much the way we live our everyday lives, how we interact with our families, the lessons we're passing on, how important that really is for forging the future. Because day in, day out, it's just another day. You've got your routine. There's the to-do list to cross off. But if you stop and reflect just a little bit today about how all of these things are adding up to a much bigger something, it gives you a chance to decide, am I on the right track or do I need to make adjustments? And then if you do, make those without delay. Next up, our Celtic triad of the day, three marks of wisdom: simplicity, endeavor, and long suffering. Now, coming to simplicity, that's usually an outcome rather than a starting point, and it's usually the result of sifting through great complexities, and then through that, all those exploration of complexities, discovering what is essential, what is consistent, and being able to find those simplistic notes to it. And I believe it was Albert Einstein who's attributed as saying that if you cannot explain it something simply, that you do not understand it. And I find this very useful for pagan spirituality. We do so much research, we consider so many different theories and points of view. We're doing all of this constant rumination and doing the math and thinking about, what that all meant in the past and what it means in the present, how we can shape the future. And we can get lost in how complicated all of that is. So, being able to take a step back from that and saying, what are the common threads? What is the spirit of the thing? And being able to go back to a state of simplicity against what is sometimes some pretty overwhelming peer pressure. Not only are we on the path of wisdom with that, we're usually also on more of a path of contentment if we're not constantly relitigating things that sometimes don't have a solid, firm answer, and sometimes they're not necessarily the point. Sometimes the details of that are just that, they're the details, but what actually matters is that common core and that common theme. And that's where we can find the simplicity, and that's where we can actually get a little bit of spiritual refreshment. Then endeavor. Endeavor is purposeful effort sustained over a period of time. And is essentially life. Making that endeavor, going forth through that effort, that is putting us on the path of wisdom. And it's going to be required of everything. We have to endeavor to work together in our marriage. We have to endeavor to have a successful family. We have to endeavor in order to have a spiritual path that is actually working for us and is leading us to something good. Endeavor is necessary in everything. And then long suffering, which is nothing more than the ability to keep your emotions in check, to look beyond temporary discomfort, and also, I might add, to decide what are the hills that are actually worth dying on and which are the ones that are just okay. This is not the battle that I really need to be dealing with. That is all a part and parcel of long suffering. And that ability to discern, where you need to stand your ground, when you can give, and when, maybe it's enough for you to agree to disagree with something. That is all a product of wisdom. And of course, we get there through having that long suffering spirit where you're not in constant defense mode. You're not in constant attack mode. You're not in constant, I have to respond instantly mode. Sometimes you can just let things sit, and having the wisdom to know when that time is, well, that's all part of this greater pursuit of wisdom. Next up, the correspondence collection is back because I was informed last month that it was missed. So instead of having one correspondence that we're looking at in the videos, we now have our collections. These are all centered on the theme of abundance. So for this, the color is gold, for which I found you a gold tree. All of the colors this month are going to be beautiful, seasonally festive trees. So I hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed finding them. But the plant is the pine, and the animal's the squirrel, and the crystal is the tiger's eye. Gold, of course, it's associated with abundance, is quite obvious because gold has been a currency in human relations since, well, all of our history that we know of. Pine trees, of course, any kind of evergreen, you're going to be thinking about everlasting life, immortality, the abundance of vitality. That's how that ties in. Animals with the squirrel, well, squirrels with their forever burying everything, and sometimes forgetting what things they bury and where they bury it, which is sometimes we have to pull, trees out of our flower beds. They're all about preparation. They're all about planning. They are ensuring abundance through hard work. And then the crystal of tiger's eye, that attracts abundance. So, attracting abundance into your life, in order to do that, you really do need to first acknowledge what you already actually possess and express gratitude for it. And then, after that point, you focus upon gaining what you lack. And I would think about more so focusing upon attracting abundance for necessities and for things that you really, really like, and not being so focused upon whether or not you're keeping up with the Joneses, especially at this time of year. It doesn't matter what the Joneses are doing. What matters is what you are doing in your household. So, little food for thought there. Now, our hearth keeping hint, spruce up your lighting. And of course, this includes your customary fixtures as well as all of your seasonal twinkle lights that you might be putting up. Begins by thoroughly cleaning all fixtures. I absolutely believe in starting with a hyper clean surface. Now, if you did your job by preparing for Thanksgiving, you probably already have pretty clean lighting fixtures. So you might not have to give them, a really thorough scrub. But, if there was perhaps a few things you neglected, particularly if it's sparkly things like chandeliers in your house, make sure that they are properly cleaned. You could choose bulbs for any of your electrics that have more of a warm glow, especially in this day and age of LED lighting. It can light things up and it lasts a long time, and that's wonderful. But not all LED bulbs are really giving you that cozy, comforting glow. So be judicious with your choices there. You can add candles, whether they are the battery powered ones or real. If it's something that's going to be left unattended, definitely go the way of the batteries because you don't want to burn down your house. That would not make for a pleasant Yuletide. And then you can add little touches of Yuletide glamour through your florals and other ornamentations. You can kind of drape them through your chandeliers. You can put your lighting, in the midst of your floral arrangements, which is another reason to use the battery powered candles for certain jobs. You have a lot of different options. You're really only limited by your imagination. So I encourage you, use that imagination and create something that's really, really beautiful to you. Now for today's practice, we begin with a little factoid. Yule is one of the oldest known celebrations of the winter solstice. And if you look about around at different wintertime celebrations, particularly the ones centered on the solstice, you see this happens again and again through various cultures and different religions and time periods. So, we have inherited traces of a lot of different things, but the Northern European one that really does go back pretty far. Then it's Sunday, so if you can greet the dawn, do so. If not, do that tomorrow. But making sure that you're getting out and you're enjoying what sun that there is. Now, I believe that some of us are expecting snow today. At least that's what they were promising at an earlier stage of prediction. So if you are getting snow, you might not necessarily get a whole lot of sun, but still get out there and enjoy nature. That's the main thing. And then, as you can see, I have chosen a little archetype for us to contemplate, Old Man Winter. So, what comes to your mind regarding that idea? And you could go in a lot of different directions. And so, hopefully, this sparks a few thoughts for you. For meditation, you might contemplate, the fading light and what that means, both. Energetically and your day-to-day practicalities for the season. You just think, give that a little bit of a think. And then you might choose to carry or wear citrine today. Then for our creative corner, because we have so many fun projects that we could be doing, and a lot of them aren't very expensive, and they're, and a lot of them don't necessarily take up a whole lot of time. And this is one of them. What you can do is you can write your wishes upon just small strips of paper, then you roll them up and then you stick them inside of a pine cone. Then you might hang them on the Yule tree until the solstice, but or you could take them directly to the fire. But either way, you can put them into a ritual bonfire or a fireplace or a cauldron or a fire safe vessel, and then that can send those desires to the universe to fulfill. And if you are burning it inside of a container, what you might do is also make sure, do this in some place where you're not going to be setting off your fire alarm, but also think about what you're going to do with those ashes. Find a crossroads if you can, scatter those ashes to the wind. That just enhances the energy to flow to where the universe gets the message received and your wishes are going out there. Then, for our journal prompt today, what impact does the fading light have upon your psyche? Because it affects us, different people in different ways. For some people, this is not a great time of year for them. And for people in that situation, really make sure that whatever decorations you're doing for Yule, that you really enjoy them. If you can add in extra bits of light here and there, I strongly recommend you doing that just to help keep your morale up. But for other people like me who are really enjoying the dark, it can feel like a bit of a blanket. It can feel it feels like we're resting, and that if we're up and out and about, it's because we're doing fun things. We're able to appreciate the sparkle of our lights and the stars and everything else because of the dark. So wherever you are, just journal just how it's impacting you. So, on that note, everyone, have a magical day. I wish you bright blessings and all of the joys of the season. Let me know what you think about, the slides for this month, and the music that I have at the beginning, all of the fun stuff. Tell me what you're doing for Yuletide. How are you making progress on your decorations? Are you already finished? Have you yet to begin? Where are you at? Just let's have a little chat with each other. And of course, remember, look for different posts under the community tab on my YouTube channel page. You don't know what you might find. So be sure to check that out. But that will do it for right now for everyone. I will see you guys in the next one.